What if I told you that wealth has almost nothing to do with how much you earn right now, but everything to do with how you think, decide, and act every single day? Most people believe the path to wealth is reserved for high salaries, lucky breaks, or rare opportunities, but history proves something very different. Some of the wealthiest individuals in the world started with nothing, no connections, no capital, and in some cases massive debt. So what changed? It wasn't their income first. It was their mindset, their systems, and their ability to make money work for them instead of chasing it endlessly. Right now, no matter your income level, you are already sitting on the raw materials of wealth. The problem is most people never learn how to structure those materials into something powerful. They earn, they spend, they repeat, and years pass. But there is a different path, one that turns small income into strong stability and stability into freedom. In this speech, you're going to discover how wealth is built step by step, not magically but strategically. You'll learn how ordinary income can become extraordinary over time if you apply the right principles consistently. Stay until the end, because the final lesson is the one that separates people who stay stuck financially from those who break through permanently. Lesson 1. Pay yourself first, always. The fundamental law of wealth creation is not found in the size of your paycheck, but in the sequence of your transactions. Most people operate on a leftover philosophy. They receive their income, pay their landlord, their utility companies, their grocers, and their entertainment subscriptions, hoping that something remains at the end of the month to tuck away for the future. This approach is psychologically and mathematically flawed because it treats your future self as a secondary creditor rather than the primary stakeholder of your life. When you pay yourself first, you are making a non-negotiable executive decision that your long-term security and freedom are more important than the immediate demands of external vendors. It is an act of radical self-respect that flips the script on the typical consumer cycle. To truly master this lesson, one must automate the process to remove the element of human willpower. Willpower is a finite resource that often fails when faced with a flashy sale or a momentary impulse. By setting up an automatic transfer that moves a percentage of your income, ideally at least 10% to 20%, directly into a brokerage or savings account the moment your direct deposit hits, you remove the choice from the equation. You begin to live on the remainder, and the human brain is remarkably adept at adapting to the resources it perceives as available. If you never see the money in your checking account, you never feel its loss. Instead, you build a fortress of capital that grows in the background while you go about your daily life. The magic of this principle lies in the compounding effect of time and consistency. A small amount, such as $100 a week, might feel inconsequential in the face of a high-cost world, but when treated as a sacred obligation, it becomes the seed of a forest. Over decades, that consistent payment to yourself begins to earn its own keep through dividends and capital gains. Eventually, the interest on your savings will exceed your original contributions. This is the transition from working for money to having money work for you. By refusing to let your future be the last item on your to-do list, you ensure that you are building a bridge to a version of your life where labor is an option, not a requirement for survival. Moreover, paying yourself first forces a healthy level of frugality that isn't about deprivation but about prioritization. It forces you to look at your expenses through a lens of scarcity, which paradoxically leads to abundance. When you have already spent a portion of your income on your future, you become more discerning about how you spend the rest. You begin to realize that many needs are actually wants that provide fleeting satisfaction compared to the deep, abiding peace of mind that comes from a growing net worth. This discipline builds a psychological momentum that is hard to break, turning wealth accumulation into a habit rather than a chore. Lesson 2. Expand the gap between income and lifestyle. Lifestyle creep is the silent killer of financial independence. It is the phenomenon where, as an individual's career progresses and their salary increases, their standard of living rises in perfect lockstep. The result is a high-income poor person, someone who earns six figures but lives paycheck to paycheck because their mortgage, car payments, and social expectations have ballooned alongside their earnings. To build true wealth, you must intentionally resist this pull. You must widen the gap between what you earn and what you spend. If your income increases by $10,000 a year, but your expenses remain the same, that entire $10,000 becomes a high-octane fuel for your financial engine. Widening the gap requires a conscious rejection of social signaling. We live in a culture that measures success by the visible, the brand of car, the neighborhood of the home, or the label on the clothing. However, wealth is what you don't see. It is the unspent capital, the untapped credit lines, and the growing brokerage accounts. To maintain a wide gap, one must be comfortable with appearing less successful than their bank balance suggests. This stealth wealth approach allows you to accumulate assets while your peers are accumulating liabilities. The wider the gap, the faster your velocity toward financial freedom, as every dollar of gap is a dollar that can be deployed into income-producing vehicles. This lesson is not about living a life of misery or extreme asceticism, but about finding a sustainable floor for your lifestyle. Once you reach a level of comfort where your basic needs and a few meaningful luxuries are met, every subsequent raise should be viewed as a tool for freedom rather than an excuse for an upgrade. If you can maintain the lifestyle of a person earning $50,000 while you are actually earning $150,000, you have created a massive surplus that can buy back your time. Time is the only non-renewable resource we have. By choosing to keep your expenses low relative to your income, you are essentially trading a fancy car for years of retired life, or the ability to walk away from a toxic job. Furthermore, expanding the gap provides a massive psychological safety net. When your burn rate, the amount you need to survive, is significantly lower than your income, the stresses of the world lose their teeth. A market downturn, a corporate restructuring, or a personal emergency becomes a minor inconvenience rather than a life-altering catastrophe. You have created a buffer that allows you to make decisions based on values and long-term goals rather than immediate financial necessity. Discipline in this area is the ultimate form of leverage, as it gives you the power to say no to things that don't serve you, simply because you don't need the money to sustain an inflated lifestyle. Lesson 3. Turn income into assets, not expenses. The core difference between the rich and the struggling lies in their definition of a dollar. To the average consumer, a dollar is a coupon to be traded for a good or a service. To the wealth builder, a dollar is a money soldier that can be sent out to capture more dollars. This shift in perspective is the foundation of turning income into assets. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket, whether through appreciation, dividends, rent, or interest. An expense is something that takes money out of your pocket and often loses value the moment you acquire it. To achieve financial mastery, your primary goal is to convert as much of your active labor income into passive engines assets as possible. Most people spend their lives collecting liabilities that they mistake for assets. A primary residence, while a necessary place to live, is often a liability because it requires constant outflows for taxes, maintenance, and interest. A car is almost always a depreciating liability. True assets are things like stocks, bonds, real estate that generates rent, intellectual property, or a business that can run without your daily involvement. Every time you receive a paycheck, you are at a crossroads. You can buy a temporary experience or a shiny object that will eventually end up in a landfill, or you can buy a piece of a company or a fraction of a property that will pay you for the rest of your life. Think of your financial life as a farm. Your income is the seed. If you eat all your seeds, you will have a full stomach today but nothing to plant for tomorrow. If you plant your seeds in the form of assets, those seeds grow into trees that eventually produce fruit. If you keep planting, you eventually have an orchard that produces more fruit than you could ever eat, and you no longer need to go out and find more seeds. This is the essence of compounding. When you turn income into assets, you are essentially hiring employees who never sleep, never take vacations, and work 24/7 to increase your net worth. The goal is to reach a crossover point where the income from your assets exceeds your living expenses. The trap many fall into is the upgrade trap, where they justify expenses as investments in themselves. While education and health are vital, one must be brutally honest about whether a purchase is truly an asset. A new luxury watch is not an asset because it holds its value, it is a luxury. An asset should have a clear, measurable path to producing more cash. By focusing relentlessly on asset acquisition, you shift your focus from how much do I make to how much do I own. This shift is what separates those who work for their money from those whose money works for them. creating a legacy of wealth that can span generations. Lesson 4. Develop income skills, not just jobs. In the modern economy, a job is a fragile thing, but a skill is portable, durable, and scalable. Many people focus on climbing a specific corporate ladder only to find that the ladder is leaning against the wrong wall, or that the ladder itself is being dismantled by technology or outsourcing. To secure your financial future, you must focus on developing high-value skills that the market is willing to pay a premium for. These are often skills that involve complex problem-solving, emotional intelligence, technical expertise, or the ability to bridge the gap between human needs and technological solutions. Your income is directly proportional to the difficulty of the problems you can solve. High-income skills provide the leverage necessary to accelerate wealth building. If you possess a skill that allows you to earn in an hour what someone else earns in a day, you have effectively bought yourself more time or more capital to invest. This is the difference between linear income, trading time for money, and leveraged income, trading value for money. Whether it is coding, high-stakes negotiation, digital marketing, or specialized medical expertise, these skills act as a multiplier on your effort. Instead of working harder, you are working sharper. The investment in your own human capital is the highest returning investment you will ever make, far outstripping the returns of the stock market in the early stages of your journey. The world is changing at an unprecedented pace, which means that the skills that are valuable today may be obsolete tomorrow. Therefore, the most important skill of all is meta-learning, the ability to learn how to learn. A wealth builder is a perpetual student who stays ahead of the curve, identifying emerging trends and acquiring the necessary competencies to remain relevant. This proactive approach turns economic shifts from threats into opportunities. When you have a diversified portfolio of skills, you are no longer dependent on a single employer or a single industry. You become a sovereign individual who can generate value regardless of the economic climate, giving you a level of security that no government or corporation can provide. Furthermore, skills allow for the creation of multiple streams of income. A job usually provides one stream, but a high-value skill can be packaged into consulting, digital products, teaching, or freelance projects. This diversification of income is a key component of financial resilience. It allows you to stress test your earning power and find niches where your value is maximized. By focusing on skill development rather than job titles, you are building an internal asset that cannot be taxed, stolen, or inflated away. Your ability to produce value is the ultimate hedge against any external financial storm, providing the foundation upon which all other wealth is built. Lesson 5. Master financial discipline before financial freedom. Financial freedom is the goal, but financial discipline is the gatekeeper. Many people dream of a windfall, a lottery win, or a massive inheritance, believing it will solve all their problems. However, statistics show that a staggering number of people who receive such windfalls end up bankrupt within a few years. This is because they lack the financial muscles to manage the weight of their wealth. Discipline is the process of training your mind to prioritize long-term stability over short-term gratification. It is the ability to stick to a budget, resist impulsive purchases, and maintain a consistent investment strategy even when the market is volatile. Without this foundation, more money only serves to amplify bad habits. Discipline also involves the mastery of one's emotions, particularly fear and greed. The financial markets are driven by these two forces, and the undisciplined investor is often swept up in them, buying at the top of a bubble and selling at the bottom of a crash. True mastery means having a plan and the fortitude to follow it regardless of the headlines. It means understanding that building wealth is often boring, repetitive, and slow. It requires the discipline to stay the course when nothing seems to be happening, trusting in the math of compounding. This emotional regulation is what separates the professional wealth builder from the amateur speculator. True freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want whenever you want. That is often just a recipe for chaos and dissatisfaction. Real freedom is the power to control your impulses and direct your resources toward your highest values. A disciplined person is free because they are not a slave to their debts, their cravings, or the opinions of others. They have the freedom from the anxiety of unpaid bills and the freedom to pursue work that is meaningful rather than just profitable. Financial discipline creates a structured environment where wealth can flourish, much like a garden needs a fence and regular weeding to thrive. It is the structure that allows the spirit to be free. Finally, mastering discipline before achieving freedom ensures that once you do reach your goals, you have the character to keep and grow what you have built. Wealth is a responsibility as much as it is a privilege. It requires stewardship, the careful management of resources to ensure they last for your lifetime and beyond. By practicing discipline when you have little, you prove to yourself that you are capable of handling much. The habits you form today, while you are still climbing, are the same habits that will protect you once you reach the summit. Financial freedom is not a destination you arrive at, it is a state of being that is maintained through the daily application of the discipline you developed along the way. Wealth is not a secret reserved for a select few. It is a system available to anyone willing to understand it and apply it consistently. No matter where you start, your financial future is shaped far more by your habits than your starting point. If you take anything from this, let it be this: income alone does not create wealth. Behavior does, discipline does, strategy does. The people who build lasting wealth are not always the ones who earn the most. They are the ones who manage, allocate, and grow what they already have with intention. Think about it. Every financial transformation begins with a single decision to stop living by default and start living by design. The moment you begin paying yourself first, investing in assets, improving your skills, and controlling your spending, you shift from survival mode into creation mode. But the real difference maker is consistency, not doing it once, not doing it when it's easy, but doing it long enough for momentum to take over. Because in the end, wealth is not built in big moments, it's built in small decisions repeated daily. And once those decisions become your identity, financial freedom stops being a dream and becomes your natural outcome.